Around the nation, inflation eased last month, but that may not be enough to calm consumers as trade tensions put pressure on prices. And economists warn of a possible recession. CNN's Karen Kafa breaks down the numbers.
Some good news for consumers. Grocery prices were fairly flat in February and gas prices actually fell. The not so good news, some economists describe Wednesday's inflation report as the calm before the storm.
President Donald Trump pleased with the government inflation report that showed consumer price hikes easing for the first time in 5 months.
Very good news.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics said the consumer price index was 2.8% year over year in February. That's a slowdown from 3% year over year in January, but still higher than where the Federal Reserve would like it.
We're talking about a 2.8% increase in prices, so that's significant, and it's significantly away from where the Federal Reserve would like to be, which is closer to a 2% inflation target.
The data also too early to show the impact of President Trump's tariff policies. Many Democrats argue American consumers will be squeezed by moves like the 25% toll on all U.S. imported steel and aluminum that took effect Wednesday.
Because houses and cars are bundles of steel and aluminum and lumber and semiconductors, all of which this president is taxing. He is imposing an onerous tax upon the middle class right now.
Wednesday's tariffs were met with swift retaliation from Canada and Europe, fueling trade war fears among businesses and consumers and prompting some economists to warn recession odds are rising.
You know, the economy is strong. It came into the year doing very well, but it can't digest the kind of tariffs that we're talking about here.
Walmart, Target, Delta, and American Airlines are among major companies that say they've seen pullbacks in U.S. consumer spending this year.
In focus with Wednesday's inflation report, the price of eggs. Egg prices increased again in February, though at a slower pace than they did in January. Still, the price of eggs is up about 60% year over year. The entire inflation report, as well as the government's jobs report that released last Friday, food for thought for the Federal Reserve as they make their next decision on interest rates next week. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.